Sometimes the only way to move on with your life is to confront your traumatic past head on. She Will was written and directed by Charlotte Colbert in her feature film debut, also written by Kitty Percy with her first feature credit here, and it centers around Alice Trudge and Coda Eberhardt, playing Veronica, an aging film star recovering from a double mastectomy, moving to the Scottish countryside for Scotland, the Highlands. I'm very, very sorry to anybody from Scotland that happens to be watching this, but I just can't help it. And Coda, playing Desi, is her managed care provider, so to speak, somebody that has affection for her and just wants her to do well. Obviously, a surgical procedure like a double mastectomy, which is getting your tits removed, by the way, just in case anybody was unaware, can be rather difficult to recover from. And also, Veronica is dealing with, basically just a lot of stuff going on in her head because there is a certain, series of events that happen in her past that she hasn't come to grips with, and we find that out as the film goes on. And also, this particular part of the Scottish countryside happens to be steeped in tragedy with witches being burned or women being burned due to witchcraft. And there are weird people at this particular retreat when she thought it was just going to be a solo retreat. No, there are other people, such as Rupert Everett. Yes, the man that was in my best friend's wedding and has been in other stuff and is a very, very good actor. But I'm always going to remember him from my best friend's wedding because, man, he really fucking shined in that. That was a really fun movie. I need to retro review that at some point. But nevertheless, Malcolm McDowell is also in this. He plays into a bit of a spoiler section a little bit later. And also there is a very, very, very gorgeous woman named Amy Manson. My fucking goodness, I need to see her in more movies. And there's also Olwen Forer. And I'm assuming that I totally butchered that goddamn name, but she was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel that came out on Netflix. And she was also in Sea Fever, and she's very, very good. It's also a good thing that subtitles exist, because when it comes to Welsh, Scottish, Irish, I have a hard time with some of the accents, and I need the subtitles. I will say that the Scottish countryside, the cinematography, the locations, very pretty, very haunting as well. There's a lot of crazy visuals. For this being her, her directorial debut as far as a feature film, Charlotte Colbert understands how to use subtlety and use great visuals and also utilize the cast that she has. This is a very visually pleasing movie. I'm not going to say it was perfect. I had some issues with it. I think there were times where they didn't necessarily jump around, but they kind of just, they did such a slow burn, which is fine. And then after a while, they were like, oh shit, we need to start having shit happen. It was an obvious story from the very beginning, especially once things got rolling, once you found out how the characters interacted with each other. And it does take a certain twist later in the movie, about halfway through roughly, where you're like, oh, it's like, no, I don't want to see that. It was kind of a gross hell moment. And also Alison Cridge, who, and who knows, I might be totally mispronouncing that since I tend to struggle with some foreign names, but Alice was very, very good in this, and actually I think has shined about as bright as she could have, because this was kind of a one performance movie, though Miss Coda, I think, deserves a little bit of credit because she was quite good, as well as a conflicted managed care provider that also does have an affection for Veronica. And as the movie goes on, it becomes obvious that Veronica has a connection to this particular place, and there are weird things going on, nightmares, a lot of goddamn nightmares. And you have to wonder, maybe could she have a strange connection to this place that she didn't expect, and this place might actually be good for her, even if she has to confront a traumatic particular series of events in her past, including one gross. So yeah, it's performance driven, it's visually pleasing, and it is quite good. Again, it's not perfect, there are some pacing issues, and some of it does feel a bit samey, but as far as indie horror and as far as subtlety, I think it does a very good job. And also, there are a few moments that might trigger as far as assault. I will say that is a fair warning for people. Yes, that kind of assault, that's fair warning. If that happened to you, one, I feel for you. There are people out there that can help you, but also it can, trigger some certain, memories that maybe you're trying to just bury, come to grips with, whatever. but it does tell its story well. Again, there are some characters that just kind of bop in and just are there for a short spell. It's only a 91-minute movie, so it's pretty breezy. That being said, it is what it is. It's not the best, but it certainly is a fine, fine debut by Miss Charlotte Colbert. And Katie Percy also did a good job helping with the writing as well. Alice was great, Coda was great, Malcolm McDowell was great in the brief parts he was in. And Rupert Everett, even though he had more of a supporting role, he was fine. Good story, good stuff overall. I'm going to get into spoilers though. It's about $7 on Amazon. Worth it. I enjoyed it. I had no problem investing the money. But that's your warning right there, because since I'm getting into spoilers, good stuff, good visuals, good acting. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay. So, Veronica keeps having these weird visuals, this weird nightmare stuff popping into her head. And it turns out that she does have a connection to these witches and this traumatic stuff that happened. She feels almost at one with the place. Weird mud starts popping up in the house or whatever, this weird sludge that almost seems like the land is alive with the sound of witches, and it's all burning like the stuff before. But also, so maybe wondering how Malcolm McDowell's character, Hawthorne, weighs into this. How does he factor in? Well, he's a famous actor, and Veronica was a 13-year-old girl on the set. Yeah. And, no, it's not a Roman Polanski situation. Oh, God. Oh. Yeah, that was pretty goddamn gross. Just the implications. And that's the thing, they told it in Salty. And Malcolm McDowell, who's a terrific fucking actor. Terrific. He's been great for a number of years. It's great in Time After Time. If you fall, I will catch. I will be with you time after time. But in all seriousness, he was great here, and he only had maybe, I'd say, 20 minutes of time. Alice carried the movie. Coda was great. And Coda also had her run-in with a guy that named Owen that kind of drugged her and got her drunk at a bar, at a pub, and tried to assault her in the woods. And then Veronica, who at this point is fully embracing her sludgy, witchy powers that she has, getting them from the land and healing herself while taking out a guy that tried to do the same thing to Desi that she had happen to her. She takes him out. It was kind of funny, and we see this faraway shot where he's getting drugged down into the sludge. She then tells Desi, you need to go away. Here's a necklace that I had as, it was from my mother. You need to go away and not come back. Because she's like, I don't want you to suffer the same stuff I suffer. And then we get a weird thing where Malcolm McDowell's character is not handling things well. We see this interview piece where it's a sit-down thing, and then it becomes obvious that he did stuff to her. Oh, we had a special kind of friendship. She was always my favorite girl. Ew. And then later he's sitting at a bar, almost straight out of the fucking Shining, just with the way they shot and did the composition for the shot. And there's this weird ash that keeps falling from the sky that is, from the charcoal mounds and from other stuff, and also from the fact, witches are burned there, so the witches are doing it for Scotland. And then what ends up happening is Malcolm McDowell has to confront his past and what he did, assaulting a 13-year-old girl. And he gets this weird ash swirls around him, pushes him off the steps, or pushes him off the staircase. He falls down like a few stories, cracks his head, and he's dead. And Desi, by the way, comes back with this vehicle after being taken to, back to civilization because they're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And she ends up rescuing her, and even though Veronica told her to leave, she's like, I'm glad you came back. Seems like she's at peace. Seems like Desi is happy to have her with her, and there you go. It's a way to confront your past, and also gross. Gross. It's a good movie. It's just troubling. A little bit troubling. I'm giving it a B+. Again, it's not perfect, but I will definitely say check this out. It is quite good. Very visually pleasing. So Charlotte Colbert, hopefully we'll get more opportunities to do feature films, bigger feature films perhaps, and we can see what else she can do, with other stories and maybe a bit of a bigger budget next time, even though this was quite good despite the small budget. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.